convention chair, I may appoint officers to assist in the conduct of our proceedings. It is my honor to announce the following convention officers. Assisting as co-chairs are Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, Mayor Mitch Landrieu, Senator Cory Booker, and Congresswoman Veronica Escobar. Our convention parliamentarians will be former House Majority Whip Steny Hoyer, Broderick Johnson, and DNC parliamentary Helen McFadden. Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist, Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo, and Congressman Ted Lieu will serve as Sergeant at Arms. Louis Terrell will serve as our book doorkeeper, and Congresswoman Barbara Lee will serve as our timekeeper. I'd now like to turn it over to my friend, Chairman Harris.
Thank you, Mignon. Hello, Democrats. The Democratic Party is 196 years old. It's the oldest active political party in the world. Every person here is a part of a movement that brings America closer to our goal of a more perfect union. And every convention is a moment. It's a moment that contributes to our movement. It's moments like 60 years ago, when Fannie Lou Hamer told the shocking story of the racist brutality she suffered simply for registering to vote. Or 52 years ago, when Shirley Chisholm ran a historic race for the presidential nomination. Or 40 years ago, when a round-headed boy from South Carolina, the same before you today, watched Reverend Jesse Jackson challenge America to hope and to dream. Folks, all of these moments led us to this transformational moment, when a black convention chair and a black DNC chair lead us in nominating a black and AAPI woman to be the next President of the United States. Folks, this is because the Democratic Party is and always will be for the people, for our future. We are honored to be a part of American history as we gavel in this convention and celebrate this historic nomination. I would like to thank the incredible workers at this year's convention, the convention staff led by the amazing Alex Hornbrook, and our convention chair, Mignon Moore, and my amazing staff at the DNC. You quite literally set the stage for us today, and we wouldn't be here without all of you. We hereby call the in-person portion of the 49th Quadrennial Democratic National Convention to order.
Please stand if you are able for this evening's invocation offered by Cardinal Blaise Joseph Cupich, Archbishop of Chicago.
Let us pray. We praise you, O God of all creation. Quicken in us a resolve to protect your handiwork. You are the source of every blessing that graces our lives and our nation. We pray that you help us to truly understand and answer the sacred call of citizenship. We are a nation composed of every people and culture, united not by ties of blood, but by the profound aspirations of life and freedom, justice and unbound hope. These aspirations are why our forebears saw America as a beacon of hope. And with your steady guidance, Lord, may we remain so today. In every generation, we are called to renew these aspirations, to reweave the fabric of America. We do so when we live out the virtues that dwell in our hearts, but also when we confront our failures to root out ongoing injustices in our national life, especially those created by moral blindness and fear of the other. We pray for peace, especially for people suffering the senselessness of war. But as we pray, we must also act. For building up the common good takes work, it takes love. And so we pray, may our nation become more fully a builder of peace in our wounded world, with the courage to imagine and pursue a loving future together. And may we as individual Americans become more fully the instrument of God's peace. Guide us, Lord, in taking up our responsibility to forge this new chapter of our nation's history. Let it be rooted in the recognition that for us, as for every generation, unity triumphing over division is what advances human dignity and liberty. Let it be propelled by the women and men elected to serve in public life, who know that service is the mark of true leadership. And let this new chapter of our nation's history be filled with overwhelming hope, a hope that refuses to narrow our national vision, but rather, as Pope Francis has said, to dream dreams and see visions of what, by your grace, our world can become. We ask all of this, trusting in your ever-provident care for us. Amen.
Please welcome Prairie Band Potawatomi, Nation Tribal Council Vice Chair Zach Pamami, and Secretary Lori Melchior.
Here we are together on our ancestral homelands of the Prairie Band Potawatomi Nation and our sister Potawatomi nations. We also honor the spirit of the other tribal nations who traveled westward through this beautiful area. Welcome, 2024 Democratic National Convention, to our homelands. This land has and always will carry enormous importance to its original stewards, our ancestors, and our present-day communities. I am Vice Chairman of the Prairie Band Potawatomi Nation, joined by Secretary Lori Melchior, and our nation's Tribal Council, who are also with us in the audience. From time immemorial, our ancestors lived in the Great Lakes region. However, in 1849, an illegal auction by the U.S. government forcibly removed our tribe from our homeland. Since then, we have been working to reclaim it. Finally, this year, the Department of the Interior placed some of our ancestral lands west of Chicago into a trust. Thanks to the resolve of our tribal community and the Biden-Harris administration, we reclaimed a piece of our home. We became the only federally recognized tribal nation in Illinois in 175 years. Together, in our homelands, let's have a joyful, historic convention. Blessings to you all. Miigwech.
Please remain standing for the presentation of colors by the Illinois State Police Honor Guard.
Detail. Attention. Carry. Colors. Forward. March. Left. 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 Colors. Colors turn.
Please welcome William and Charles Harrison from South Carolina to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please welcome the Soul Children of Chicago to sing our national anthem.
And camera folks have now come across this fencing so we can give you a different vantage point. Within the last couple of minutes, Sylvia and Terrence, as you described, we have seen officers put on what appears to have been gas masks, and so the fear now is that they may use some type of deterrent to get the crowd away. Again, on the other side of the fence, if Todd can just turn the camera around, this is where the protest ended. The march ended, I should say, here at Park 567. The group was here for about 30 minutes. Everything was peaceful, no issues at all. But then this fencing that you're seeing right now, several panels of that fencing was torn down before you then saw a lot of people jump the fencing and then start throwing rocks that we've learned at police right now. We have seen a larger response from police. Again, this location, for those folks from the west side that may be familiar, is right outside of the Pilgrim Rest Missionary Baptist Church, located right at Walcott Avenue. I am standing on what I believe to be Washington Street right now. Yes, this is Washington Street, and so we do see authorities, Secret Service agents, police, out-of-state police communicate as well, trying to get a handle on this crowd. On the other side of this fencing, we also see some journalists as well, but even right now, you can see, Todd, turn the camera around just so you can see another group still trying to tear down more fencing. I want you all to see this. This is what we've been seeing for the last couple of minutes. They are resilient. They are not obeying the police's orders. They are not obeying Secret Service orders. They are taking upon themselves with masks on to disrupt, to tear down the fencing, to disobey the security guidelines that have been distributed by the city. Again, at least on this side, we are still seeing a number of Chicago police. Todd, if you can turn the camera to the right, you see dozens of officers. Don't be not mistaken, Chicago police are here and they are ready. This is all strategic by the Chicago Police Department on both sides of this perimeter. They have not moved here yet to move this crowd, but they will not let them get past this fencing into the United Center. Again, for those unfamiliar with this area, we are probably 2 blocks north of the United Center, where fencing has been erected. As we've just shown you over the last 10 minutes or so, several of the fencing panels has been torn down by these agitators, some with bats in hand, many of them with their faces covered. I will tell you from covering some of these events
and caring people is where Democrats will celebrate President Joe Biden and nominate Kamala Harris for President of the United States of America. As the son of a family that worked to make ends meet, I know that Kamala Harris, the daughter of a mom who worked hard every single day, she is going to look out for the interests of everyday people. I know that as a fellow former social studies teacher, that Governor Tim Walz will never shrink from standing up for our democracy and for those most in need. And as a black man, raising a little black girl on the west side of Chicago, I know that my daughter Brayden will see not only a reflection of herself in the White House, but she will experience the deepest part of American values. Think about it. What will it take to build the middle class and make it easier for families not only to get by, but to get ahead? It will take someone with toughness to stand up for us. And let me tell you, America, Kamala's got it. What will it take to defend our fundamental rights and our freedoms? It will take someone with leadership who would fight for us. And let me tell you, America, leadership, Kamala, she's got it. And what will it take to defeat MAGA Republicans and move our country forward and not backwards? It will take everyone. And let me tell you all, Kamala, she's got us. From Mississippi to Pennsylvania to Delaware, Kamala Harris, she's got us. From Michigan to Wisconsin to Nevada to California and right here in Illinois, Kamala Harris, she's got us. To the child care workers, to the tip workers, Kamala Harris, she's got us. And to make sure that this country ensures that families will have access to real affordable housing to create a pathway to the American dream, Kamala Harris, she's got us. Together we can build a better, brighter future. And there's no better place to start that than right here in the greatest freaking city in the world, the city of Chicago. God bless you all. Thank you.
This is our town. We've got steel in our spines, iron in our veins, and hope in our hearts. We've got the flavor, the guts, the grit, and those big shoulders you've heard so much about. We're a bold city, a proud city, a who you callin' second city, where 77 neighborhoods are one. A city of giants, a city with heart, a city with heroes, a sweet, sweet place to call home. We were born ready, baptized by fire, tireless, tenacious, tested, trusted. And like someone else we know, when we fight, we win. We're ready to rise to the challenge, to rise to new heights. Rise, 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 up, up and away we go. We're ready to scrape the sky and reach for the stars, to stand tall for tomorrow, to witness greatness. We ain't going back. We've got big things to do, big shoes to fill, big dreams to realize. We ain't afraid of nothing. No nonsense, no fear. Oh yeah, we're ready. So America, welcome to Chicago. We've got our dancing shoes on. We've got our game faces on. America, we look like you, sound like you, work like you, dream like you. We feel you, America. We see you, America. Hey, make some noise so we can hear you, America. Welcome to Chicago.
Hello, my friends. My fellow Democrats. I started my journey to this stage in 1988. I was 12 years old, and my family was watching the Democratic National Convention. Now, to be honest, I wanted to watch something else. But we all knew when my grandfather sat in his chair, the TV was his. But folks, when Reverend Jackson came on, I paid attention. A black man from South Carolina, raised by a single mother. That was me. And as long as I live, I will never forget what he said. He challenged young people to hope and to dream. So that's exactly what I did. I dreamed big, I worked hard, and I never lost hope. When our power was cut off, when there was nothing in the fridge, when we lost our home to a con man, I never lost hope. And now, my friends, I'm standing on the same convention stage that inspired me, and I'm the chair of the Democratic Party, the world's oldest political party. Folks, only in America. And that's the beautiful thing about this country that I love so much. Hope and hard work can take you anywhere. You can go to college, you can start your own business, you can even win the Olympics. That's the America Democrats believe in, and that's the America Democrats are fighting for. So 4 years ago, my friends, we were a country divided by fear, and we were stuck under a man who preached bigotry and hatred. Hope was lost. But my friends, we found hope in President Biden and Vice President Harris, and the 80 million Americans who stood by their side. And now we are united. We're united in our pursuit of progress because, my friends, they saw us. They fought for us. They heard us. And under their transformational leadership, we have forgiven billions in student loans. We have expanded access to health care, and we have strengthened the middle class. But the fight continues, and there is still more work to do. You know, I know that when we elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, they will build on our accomplishments, and they will create a country that works for every American. They will invest in our dreams and our futures, and hope will light our path forward. They will lead us in the fight for America, and believe me, when we fight, we win. And folks, we can never forget who we are fighting for. This election is about Americans who are watching right now, wondering who's gonna finally pave that dirt road, or make it easier to feed their family, or get medical bills under control. This election is about those who believe anybody can achieve their dreams if they work hard and trust in the endless possibilities of America. This election is about communities who need to see that hope and joy will always overcome fear and chaos. This election is about every little boy inspired by a party chair who looks like him, and every little girl who will finally see a president who looks like her. My friends, we are paving a path for them. We're working toward a brighter future for them, and we need each and every one of you to join us. In my beloved home state of South Carolina, our motto is, while I breathe, I hope. Folks, I believe in the power of hope, but it's going to take more than hope to win this election. So in the next 78 days, our motto can't be just, while I breathe, I hope. It must be, while I breathe, I vote. Because that is how we make hope real for all of America. America, let's vote for Democrats up and down the ticket. Let's save our democracy, and let's vote for our MVP, Kamala Harris, and our coach, Tim Walz. Thank you all so much for being here. And now, it is indeed my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, who will be co-chair for tonight. This is a young woman who is the current lieutenant governor of the great state of Minnesota. And when Tim Walz becomes vice president, she will become the first Native American governor in this great country. Folks, let's welcome Peggy Flanagan.
Thank you, Jamie. As we gather together on this historic night, we remember those who came before us, who fought and prayed this moment into existence. The suffragists and the abolitionists, the activists who fought for our rights, the leaders who paved the way for us all. Their courage and conviction shaped the course of history. Their memory reminds us that the fight for freedom always passes from one generation to the next.
You know, I've seen a lot in my lifetime. I was just 22 years old when Fannie Lou Hamer made her presence known at another Democratic convention. It was in 1964 in Atlantic City, and she arrived with a group of black delegates from Mississippi. And she simply asked that her delegates be seated in place of the state's all-white delegation. She told the people in the room about the violence she suffered at the hands of white police because she, a black woman, had demanded her right to vote. When she finished, she asked the country.
Please welcome President and CEO of the NAACP, Derek Johnson, and President and CEO of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, Melanie Campbell.
Good evening. I'm Derek Johnson, President and CEO of the NAACP, and I'm here to do my black job. Since the founding of our nation, we have been on an unending march to protect this imperfect union. Tonight, we celebrate the power of the collective, of what is possible when we are all in for all people. But as we do, let us not forget the history that preceded this moment or the history makers who prepared us for it. As we just heard, in 1964, the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, led by Fannie Lou Hamer, and Mississippi NAACP State President Aaron Henry, who stood tall and challenged a process that excluded them to ensure that we will all be recognized here tonight. In 1973, the historic elections of Atlanta's Mayor Maynard Jackson, Detroit's Mayor Comey Young, and LA's Mayor Tom Bradley paved the way for another historic election just 10 years later, right here in Chicago, with the election of Harold Washington as the first black mayor of the city of Chicago. And in 1988, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, in his second quest,
that helped to build civilizations. And there are ancestors, so we want to honor them by pouring libation for builders of civilization. When I pour the water, you can please say, Ashe. You pour libation for our builders. Next, we like to pour libation for our royalty. The great kings and queens who contributed a lot to the civilization of the world, and especially to our people. Some kings and queens like Queen Nzinga, King Sunjata Keita, and many, many others. A lot of times the world only likes to recognize the king and queen in Great Britain. But our kings and queens predate them by centuries. So we pour libation for our royalty. Next, we pour libation for our ancestors and our family members who suffered and died in the transatlantic slave trade, many of whose bones still lie at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Some of them resisted on those ships, and some of them jumped overboard because they didn't want to suffer what was coming. So we pour libation for our ancestors who suffered, died during the transatlantic slave trade. Next, we pour libation for those who suffered and died on plantations all over the world, working for free, which is what reparations is all about. Our ancestors built cities, universities, and edifices all over the world, as well as picked cotton and sugar cane and all those things on plantations. So we pour libation for our ancestors that suffered during those slavery times. Next, we pour libation for our freedom fighters, those who resisted, who fought against racism, who fought against injustice, who fought against oppression all over the world. And some of those same ancestors began the fight for reparations. This is a very, very old fight. Our ancestors have been struggling with this fight for many years. So we pour libation for our freedom fighters. Those like Dr. Conrad World, Amos Townsend, Nat Turner, Denmark Beasley, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey. There's so many I could stand here all day to name them. but we pour libation for our freedom fighters. Next, we pour libation for our artists. I'm an artist, and many artists in Chicago have contributed all over the world, have contributed to what makes us human, to civilization. They've also continued our struggle through the art. The artists have dedicated their lives to our struggle to the freedom of our people. So we pour libation for artists, drummers, dancers, singers, writers, fashion designers, poets, all of those artists, we pour libation. Now we'd like to pour libation for our own personal family members and loved ones who have gone on. And it's very important that we keep that circle of growing by remembering them, by calling their names. So I ask that you please call out the names of some of your personal family members who have transitioned, who have gone on, so that they can be refreshed and we can let them know that we still remember them and we still love and honor them. Thank you so much. We pour libation for our loved ones. And next, we'd like to pour libation for those children who are yet to be born. They will stand on our shoulders one day. They will carry on the struggles that we started and that we're involved in. So we pour libation for them that when they reach the world, they will come with all the things that they need to continue our struggle and to be victorious in the things that we're struggling for. So we pour libation for our children yet to be born. And we ask God, and we thank God for all of our ancestors. And we thank God for each and every person that's here today. We ask that God, our ancestors continue to guide, continue to protect, to continue to inspire us. If we can all say, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you so very much for that. All right, it's time for some dancing, y'all. Ready for a little dance? Yeah. Okay. So we have a variety of independent dancers from various dance companies throughout Chicago. We have the Moon 2 Dance Theater, Ayo Ballet, I say that right, Drum and Dance, Azania Drum. And just so you know, the Moon 2 Dance, they're gonna have Dance Africa Chicago. That's happening in October the 27th. And Shy Village on Kwanzaa, 12/26. December 26th, they're having a big Kwanzaa celebration right here, honoring Dr. Worrell and the legacy of other people in the community. And she did. She did it. Yes. Love it. This is better than the DNC, ain't it? Way better, right? Glad y'all came out to the South Side tonight. I'm having a great time. I can't go too far. You having a good time so far? Yeah. I just feel like I'm connected to the ancestors, like on some real stuff. I absolutely love it. Okay. $1,000 gift cards from the Rook Place. Someone's gonna walk away with that tonight. Get you some new furniture, some new front room furniture, new dining room set, something. Whatever you choose to buy, $1,000, that's a lot of money. It's a good look. At this time, this brother's so talented, he's so deep too. Can't wait to enjoy what he's coming up with. One time for the great Black Ice.
What do we want? 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 Y'all put our hands together for all my brothers and sisters who have fought the fight and couldn't see today. So when I say get your knee off my neck, I need you to say I can't breathe. Get your knee off my neck. 400 years of disrespect, inequality, and it's bothering me, but they not listening. The only time they seem to pay attention is when we're out there looting and breaking something. But they're too blind to see that this is live on TV. I'm scrubbing the line, straighten the antenna. Let's go back to 1619 Virginia, America. This is when we stepped over the slave ships and stepped on the auction block. Sold to the highest bidder like livestock. Since that moment, we've been playing on two separate fields to two different clocks, and you got the nerve to use your stopwatch. How am I ever going to catch up to you when you had a 400-year head start? Back then, they made it unlawful for us to read, but now they're trying to make it unlawful for us to breathe. So a knee off my neck. Then in 1863, we thought that we were free. But Galveston, Texas denied our freedom for 2 more years. This is what we celebrate Juneteenth, our Independence Day. But let's fast forward to May 31st, 1921. A mob of white men with guns and white sheets burned down over 1,200 homes in what will later be known as Black Wall Street. And you wonder why. The unemployment in my community is so high. It's because of that knee. Get your knee off my neck. Can't breathe. The odds have been against us since the day that we were born. And some of these racists are trading in their white sheets for black robes, suits and ties, and police uniforms. Let me clarify. Like the queen right here, all cops are not bad cops. But when you stand there and watch, look at your watch while 9 minutes and 20 seconds go past. Knee or neck, I can't breathe. Then the good cop becomes just as guilty as the bad cop. As a matter of fact, that makes you an accessory. I think they love to see black men wearing accessories like hands and cuffs and chains. Since slavery, we've been beaten, whipped, handcuffed, and chained. And this is a stain on America's history. When will it change? America. We still haven't forgotten your original sin. And the reason why America was so great back then is because we were her human cotton gin. So when you say, let's make America great again, Trump, are you saying that you want us to go back to picking your cotton again for free? We had no choice because of that meeting. This is something that they tried so hard to avoid. Well, today, we want justice from Emmett Till to Jacob Blake to George Floyd. Get your knee off my neck. I can't breathe. That's that piece, y'all. Let me know if it's too strong now. There gotta be some accountability. You're talking about, and we just started from 1619 going up into today. We're not even talking about the late 1400s. There has to be some accountability. When we talk about reparations, most people think about chattel slavery. They think about Jim Crow. They think about the lynchings. But you know how many unfair and unjust laws were passed to make sure that your and my people were incarcerated? That was the new form of slavery, incarceration. As a matter of fact, the police was created to catch slaves back in the day. And so since we don't know no better, we look at the young black brother and we say, oh, look at the drug dealer. Look at the gang banger. They got guns and they shoot. Don't you know that there's no gun manufacturing companies in the black community? On the south side and the west side of Chicago, there's no chemistry labs on the south side and the west side of Chicago. See, I come from Inglewood, south side of Chicago, Auburn, Western neighborhood, Austin, Lawndale. There's no chemistry, no factories making these drugs, but they show up in our community. That's not a mistake. And so just as much as we hold America accountable for the injustices that were inflicted on our people for almost 400 years, we gotta hold our own selves accountable. Because no one makes you do anything. You gotta do that yourself.
But we're so brainwashed that the Ku Klux Klan ain't got to kill us no more. They done created us as the new killers of ourselves. So somebody say Chicago. 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 We had over 1,000 people shot this year. Do your math, it's more than double the days there are in a year mothers fear their babies not making it home from school. Unemployed brothers, they got time to look for a job, but got time to be on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, acting a fool. And these gangs out here ain't following no rules, they ain't got no structure, but they knew exactly what they were doing when they could now roll with Jeff Ford and Larry. See, there's an old saying, cut off the head and the body would fall. Let this be a lesson to all y'all, and I'm a part of some of these Chicago rappers who boast to the world on how their lyrics be so cold. And some of them will get right on stage and talk about how God saved their soul. But won't get out here and go to none of these schools or get out here on none of these streets to even try to sing just one song. And the church, y'all can hear me. I said in the church, if you're really there to help save lives, then let me make a proposal. If the church you attend ain't involved in community affairs to help save lives, then stop paying your tithes. And as for the Black Lives Matter movement, you didn't think I was going to let you off the hook, did you? I believe that Black Lives Matter, but when are Black lives going to matter to Black people? March in the hood like you do downtown. Step down some of these gas stations and liquor stores that become breeding grounds for our babies to get shot down like you do those businesses on Black Friday downtown. Chicago, home of the future world champion WNBA Chicago Sky. Home of the Monsters of the Midway. Home of Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. See, I don't think y'all understand. What's going down in Chicago has always been about land, and I recognize the hustle. But did you ever know that as soon as they tore the projects down, the crime rate in Chicago doubled? Displaced these gangs to go live where those gangs live. Let them kill one another. So if an innocent baby gets killed, we'll go to the funeral and send flowers to the mother. In the meantime, let the land on the south side and the west side become devalued. And ain't no scholar, but in our community right now, they're selling vacant land for just $1. $1. And like the land that the projects used to stand on, they gonna build retail spaces and condos. And while we addicted to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and our babies are addicted to nachos and cheese, little baby Chucky say cheese, Chicago. We had over 1,000 people shot already this year. And we all have a responsibility to come out of the nightclub and get in these streets. Come out of the four walls of the church and get in these streets. Get off of your social media soapbox and get in these streets. See, we all like to talk, and we love for our voices to be heard. But when are you going to realize that it's your actions that speaks louder than your words? That's that piece, y'all. What do we want? 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 Thank you so much.
Thanks, I told y'all that running deep. You need a church of inspiration, sir.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to proudly reaffirm Tim Walz as our Democratic nominee for Vice President. Yes, USA. Pursuant to our convention rules, Governor Walz has been invited to make an acceptance speech, which he will deliver on Wednesday, August 21st. Thank you, my friends. Delegates, please welcome to the stage co-chair Peggy Flanagan to resume chairing our convention.
Thank you. Well, good evening, and welcome to the first night of the Democratic National Convention. I'm Peggy Flanagan, Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, and I am thrilled to be here in Chicago with Democrats from across the country to rally around Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and their vision for America. It's been 8 years since we last came together as a party, and I can feel the excitement in this arena. It's filled with energy and with joy. Our theme tonight is for the people. We'll hear from union leaders, civil rights advocates, and our fellow citizens. And we'll hear from our president, Joe Biden, who has been a champion for the people for his entire life. My name
was also involved with putting this whole thing together, because without him, I really don't believe none of it would have happened. He was a co-sponsor, the #1 for reparations in the city of Chicago, and that's the all-time great Dr. Conrad Ward.
We are in your face city right now. And for those of you that don't know, if you didn't have it to perfection, he would challenge you and tell you, go do it again. So he was that type of person to push you further. So we are honored to keep his namesake and to be in his namesake track and field. He was a real brother. He was a Black nationalist. He was an activist. He was an educator.
Yes,
so we are proud of
that. Yeah. And if it wasn't for him kicking that Chicago resolution back, now it was voted on back in 2020, where the reparations resolution was first passed in the city of Chicago. So Conrad challenged that resolution with some of the greatest: Pam Power, Richard Waken, Dr. Willie Wilson, and Alderman Roger Sawyer. So he would challenge it and kick it back every time it came to the forefront if it didn't make sense. So when he gave it the stamp of approval, that's when it was lobbied in city council, and it passed 47-2.
Yes, clap it up. That's important.
And so we're here today to honor him. We thank you all for coming out.
Yes.
And we have one more great accomplishment that just happened this year in June of 2024. Would you like to make that announcement?
Okay, so our wonderful mayor of Chicago,
Mayor
Brandon Johnson, actually on June 17th, signed an executive order where we were all here, the community partner on stage. He signed an executive order 2024-1, establishing the reparations task force with $500,000 in the budget. That is just
Now, so many people get confused and say, well, $500,000 is not enough to pay reparations. We know that. That was not to pay reparations. It takes money to get the plan moving. So we're creating a task force, and he put it in an office that's already existing. What's the name of the office that we're working with?
The Office of Immigration Justice.
Absolutely. And so with that $500,000 through that office, we will gather a task force within the city of Chicago of great people that will work on behalf of actually writing the plan. This is not a study. It's time to tackle the racial profile laws and all the hurt and harm that's been caused to our people in the city of Chicago since I can remember, and I'll be 60 this year. So it's time to correct that, and that's what this reparations plan will do. We will address the racial profile laws, Blacks participating in only 1% of the contracts, our devastating communities that has been intentionally disinvested in. Our Black youth are dying at an all-time rate. Most of our communities in the city of Chicago has been labeled the most dangerous, not only in the United States, but in this country. And that was a report that was put out back in May of 2024. And that's because of all the neglect, intentional neglect that has happened during the administrations prior to this one. So I thank God that this administration, first of all, Mayor Brandon Johnson apologized for all the harm done from prior administrations. He apologized. It's part of the repair. And now it's time to redress Black people, because we're kings and queens. And we was no longer treated like that. It was a big about.
By international standards, that apology is big.
Yeah.
And it is one of the components, the five for reparations.
Absolutely.
By the United Nations.
So we know this room should be crowded, but we know God makes no mistakes.
And all,
it's all intended to be would be here, but this movement will continue. And our message to the DNC, the National Democrat Convention, you're here in Chicago, you want the Black vote. Well, we're saying you have to earn the Black vote.
Absolutely.
We will no longer be taken for granted. We will not vote for you because our ancestors and our forefathers did it. If we want our vote, earn our vote. Reparations. What is it now?
Reparations.
When do we want it?
Now.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, God.
Thank you, Lakeisha and Beatrice. We appreciate you so much. And I just want to say real quick, we have two of our family members here that you will hear from tonight. Mr. Oscar Worrell, you'll get a chance to hear him speak tonight. And we have his daughter, Sabina. That was the African dance team that I just fell in love with. So they're here tonight and they will be honored and you will get a chance to hear them speak. Thank you so much. Here again, and right now we're going to hear from Mr. Maurice Woodard.
How y'all doing today? Good, good. Here, I'll be brief. Like was said before me, I'm gonna give y'all history lessons. I think y'all know. We owe reparations, and what we do at Evenly Organized, we beat the street, we knock doors. So I'm here today to invite everybody to an action for reparations. We're located on the west side of the West Side Justice Center, about a mile and a half away from the United Center. So that's where we organize the Black and forth economy. People locked up, people have to hustle. That's what we do it for. And what we heard from our people is we want to stand up for reparations. There's a lot of people coming to our city and our Black neighborhoods, marching for a whole lot of things. I'm free to land, ceasefire with those people. We want to stand up for us. And we feel if you come to our city, you got to hear our voice. So the plan is to mobilize 1,000 people. We've been working on it all year. We're going to be marching from the west side, down California, up Madison to Western, right to where they got their perimeter set. We're going to get as close to the United Center as possible. And the goal is, exactly as was said before me, y'all want the Black vote, y'all got to earn it. Y'all can't just come to our city on supertime, not hear from us. So come over to this table, we got all the information, the logistics written down. Join us Wednesday the 21st on the west side. We meeting up at 10. We marching on the DNC to the more reparations to make sure they hear Black Chicago. Thank you.
You showed up short and to the point, right? No, that's right, Maurice. Okay, at this time, we are going to hear from Dr. Akila Makaram. Give her a round of applause as she comes. Thank you.
Thank you, my beautiful sister. I didn't hear my song. What's your song? One Moment in Time by Whitney Houston. One Moment in Time by Whitney Houston. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Good, good.
All right now, help me. Right. That sounds good, right? Come on.
Each day I live, I want to be. Day I live, I want a day to give the best of me.
Okay, as my beautiful sister said, I am Dr. Akila Mukaram. I am the president of the Afro-Descendant Nation. Thank you. The Afro-Descendant Nation was established under the leadership and guidance of the Honorable Silas Muhammad. Knowing that we have our differences, we sought to establish a government that we could all live in and enjoy as a people, as an Afro-descendant people, which I will share that definition with you shortly. In our pre-DNC event last night, the Afro-Descendant Nation, the NCOBRA Chicago chapter, and Reparations United asked the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, to add reparations to their agenda. No one is speaking for us, so the Afro-Descendant Nation is speaking for running for us, our people. Thank you. In April of this year, at the United Nations in Geneva, Switzerland, at the Permanent Forum of People, I recommended to the states, to the Permanent Forum, those distinguished officers of the Permanent Forum, that they recommend to the United Nations that the member states, the United States and the other member states, let our people know that we are Afro-descendants. And they are calling us Afro-descendants, and they are conducting studies on us as Afro-descendant people. But my people here in America don't understand or know, are not aware that they are Afro-descendants. So we are Afro-descendant people, and we're recognized as Afro-descendant people globally. Now it's time for us to wear our identity and take it on for us as a people. All other people have their identity, but ours has changed approximately 6 times, I know, in my lifetime. So Afro-descendant is our great unifier. It will unify us regardless of religious beliefs, regardless of ideologies, or any other beliefs that we have. I would like to share that definition with you at this time. Share it exactly the way that I shared it at the UN. The term Afro-descendants refers to descendants of peoples who were forcibly dispossessed of their homeland, Africa, were transported to the Americas and the slavery diaspora for the purpose of enslavement, were subjected to slavery, were subjected to forced mixed breeding and rape, have experienced through force the loss of mother tongue, culture, and religion, and or have experienced discrimination due to lost ties or partially lost ties from their original identity. Our identity as a people was forced out of our enslaved ancestors. So we were without an identity, a nationality, and we have been absorbed here in America, where our people and people worldwide not know that we are a people here, because African American keeps us absorbed in America. We are no longer the true African that left, or not left, excuse me, was stolen from Africa. We are no longer that person. And we're definitely not of European descent. But we are those people of African descent who are Afro-descendants that fit that definition. And we ask the United Nations to make sure that these member states start letting our people know wherever we are that we are Afro-descendant people. How many of you in the room today are Afro-descendant according to the definition? Thank you. So we are running a plebiscite, the Afro-descendant nation is, and that plebiscite, you can decide on what you want. To say here in America, if you want to leave America, get a land of your own. We need land that we can call our own for sure. Some territory here while we're here, and if we plan to leave here, we need that territory as well. So that plebiscite number, if you can, take out your phones at this moment. Take out your phones at this moment and text reparations with an S. Reparations with an S to 877-506-2184. Again, that's reparations with an S to 877-506-2184. And we have some flyers going around too if you missed the number. Thank you so much for your attention. I appreciate it. Have a great evening.
you so much, Dr. Anthony. We appreciate that great information. You guys still with us? Yes, outside makes noise. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you, family, for that. And from Afro Elite, right now we will hear from Mr. James McCoy.
First off, I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank you guys for the opportunity to speak. I appreciate that. We're all here because we believe in a cause that's going to save this city, that's going to make the lives of Black people in this city better than it is right now. Our people, despite the semantics of what you prefer to be called, our people, the descendants of American slaves, built this entire country. This entire country, not just a city, not just the South. There would be no Chicago had there not been slavery in the South. There was slavery in the North. There was slavery in New York. There was slavery all over in some way or another. In some way, directly or indirectly, the entire country was built off of slave labor, off of hundreds of years of oppression, subjugation, murder, rape, torture of our people. No reparations, none whatsoever. We tried to build our own societies, which we have. We became successful. What did they do? Did they leave us alone? No, they actually went there, they flooded some, they burned some to the ground, they stole some with eminent domain, they ran highways through some. And they keep telling us the problem is not them, the problem is us. The problem is the fact that we don't work hard enough. The problem is the fact that we need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, the same bootstraps that they burned down to the ground, because that's what they did. We need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. We need to buckle our pants, stop sagging, stop listening to this hip-hop music. We need to speak properly. Don't speak in this ghetto slang. Stop complaining. I mean, we built everything they have. They wouldn't have anything. Chicago wouldn't exist had it not been for us. New York wouldn't exist had it not been for us. Nothing would exist. World Roads, nothing would exist had it not been for us. And every time we get somewhere, we get stripped from the bottom. We're the first fired, last hired, we don't get business loans, they take our houses away, we get falsely incarcerated. The government of the United States of America plants drugs and guns in our community. It locks us up and tells us, well, if you take the drugs, we didn't make you sell it, here we put it there, but that's your fault. So you just gotta live with the consequences of what you do. And it's about time. It's about time that enough of us, and I'm so very glad to see that enough of us are saying, you know what, all of the damage that you guys have done to us, you guys need to pay us for that. All of the wealth that you guys are living off of, you guys need to pay us for that. Because that really doesn't belong to you. That belongs to us. It really doesn't belong to you. This country really doesn't belong to you. There was no country here. We didn't come to America. We built America. We built America. There's no country before we got here. They made it seem like they bought us to something that they already had. They didn't have anything. They didn't have any houses. They didn't have any roads. They didn't have any bridges. They didn't have any railroads. They didn't have anything. We made it. And then they tell us we aren't owed anything. So it's about time, after centuries, that we say, you know what? We're not playing your game anymore. Now you need to follow our rules. Now you need to give us what we built back. You need to give us our wealth back, to return everything, and you need to repair us the same way, equal to the way you guys have damaged us for all of these years. One of my absolute favorite quotes from Dr. Martin Luther King is that justice delayed is justice denied. And have we not been delayed justice? Have we not been stalled? How many times have they said, don't worry guys, when I get in office, I'm gonna fix the south side of Chicago, I'm gonna fix the west side of Chicago, I'm gonna put businesses there, communities there, all the schools that I took down 10 years ago, they're all coming back. How many times have we heard that line? Has any schools that they shut down, has any of them come back? Has any of the businesses that went bankrupt because of poor economic conditions, have any of them come back? No. But they tell us, you know, there's a process to repair it. There was no process to harm you. There was no process to damage you. There was no process to subjugate you. But there's a process to repair it. So you got to be patient, because what we need to do, we need to pass a bill so we can have a conversation, so we can discuss the options about if we're going to do anything. And that's the process of doing things. And he tells us, just wait. Things can't happen overnight. You have to understand things can't happen overnight. And I say, okay, that's fair. That's fair. Things can't happen overnight. But then, I'm sorry, but then it kind of confuses me, because you have thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of illegal immigrants. Yeah. You have billions of illegal immigrants coming to this city right here. And they're getting reparations. They're getting reparations. Let's call it what it is. Reparations and resources. You got homeless black folks, veterans, sleeping outside, sleeping all cozy in hotels, nice hotels. Some of them are in the police stations. Now they're probably not there anymore because they beat all the police up after they get the check box. Okay. They tell us, oh, there's a process of repair. You guys gotta wait. Okay, we gotta have enough votes, we gotta have the Senate, we gotta have the House, and we can't do anything that's only gonna benefit you. Something for everyone. The harm that we face, who's to us? But the repair, right. Everybody got to be involved in that. Okay. So if we gotta share, we gotta wait and share. We gotta wait and share. Why do they not have to wait and share? About time to start asking that question. Why do they not have to wait and share? I know there's criminals. Let's be honest. There's criminals coming over here committing crimes all over in the city. Then they get locked up. The judge says, let them go. They didn't know what they were doing. They change their name. They commit another crime. They get locked up. Do the same thing over and over again. They lock you up, you speed. Your license is suspended. Oh, you're going to jail. Oh, you need bail. They don't need bail. They don't need anything. So let me ask you. Justice delayed. Justice denied. How long are we going to wait? How long are we going to compromise? How long are we going to say, well, let's hope that dang little thing, that wink and a nod, is going to help us? I say no support at all for anything whatsoever. Right now, right now, like they have been for 4 years, and they have not done anything. I'm not saying he should support them, vote for them. Kamala's here trying to support them and vote for them, and then hopefully get an IOU. Do something now. Do something before November, and we'll see about it. You need to do something right now today. Right. Because if you don't do anything, you're not getting any support from us after you're done. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Very much appreciate it. We're going to take a slight, not really an intermission, but we just want you to get up and move around. You've been so patient with the different speakers and such. If you want to come up here and take a picture with this nice backdrop, so you can have for your collection, because today is a rally. We want you to be fired up, okay? So we want you to go home with something that you can share with the rest of the family. Drop that DJ, okay? Go ahead and get up You want to dance? Move around a little bit.
I'm Joyce Beatty, and I'm proud to represent Ohio in Congress. I was born in the Buckeye State, and I've never left. Now, J.D. Vance likes to talk about how he's from Ohio, but as soon as he could, he ran away to Yale and Silicon Valley, cozying up with billionaires while trashing our communities. JD has been our senator for 18 months. And what has he done for hardworking Americans? Nothing. He's been busy writing the foreword to the book from the Project 2025 guy. While JD and Donald Trump have been sharing conspiracy theories from the darkest corners of our internet, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have been busy expanding access to the internet, while the other guys have been criticizing women without children. Joe and Kamala have been expanding the child tax credit. And let me just tell you, cutting the poverty rate for our children. Kamala and Joe Biden have been also at the same time reducing the price of health care for our seniors. And yes, securing a cap of $35 on insulin. And as JD and Trump, they want to take us back to the past. Kamala and Joe have been bringing the jobs of the future to America today. With the CHIPS Act, a $280 billion investment. And that's not just a big number. It means new semiconductor plants and thousands of good-paying jobs. You see, I worked with Kamala to pass it, and I saw her leadership style up close, a rare combination of brilliance, legal expertise, and patience. You see, it's simple. JD and Trump like to talk about states like Ohio, but Kamala and Joe actually get stuff done for us. And so does our next vice president and my good friend, Governor Tim Walz.
You don't want to miss the kind of thing. It's a very important thing. Hey. Our vendors, very nice square. Make sure you check them out. Grab a card and network.